Alliance blog, the Alliance blog, the Alliance blog, the Alliance blog. Alliance? If you put an S in front of Alliance, you have Starlions. That's me.
Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome.
How about now? How about now? This is awful. Can you hear me now? What a great way to start the show. Oh, man. Technical difficulties, man. Wow. That hasn't happened in such a long time. I feel so blessed that you guys got to hear that with me. Oh, man. It only took up 10 minutes of the show time. Welcome to the pre-party. My name is Jay Cal, and each and every Tuesday I come to you to talk about the NWA. Unfortunately, something went wrong today, but I'm here, and you can hear me, and that's the best news all day. Hey, this is going to be a strange new world that we're diving into tonight. I have never watched a single program on the app formerly known as X. I've never been on Twitter before. I've never checked that out and watched a program that way. So this will be interesting to see how the NWA takes its next step into whatever new is happening. It's going to be all via the X app. And what you guys missed out earlier is the reason why I'm decked out in blue here. The reason why I look so suave in my blue is because your boy J Cal got hooked up from Danny Deals, right? And this is me trying to show you that Danny Deals hooked up your boy Jay, and that's why I've got this svelte 76 hat. I've got the 76 shirt. Now, look, I asked for a 2X because I'm kind of a big guy. This is a large. Your boy's been losing some weight, which is a good thing for me. It's terrible for everyone else out there. How do we watch on X? That's a great question, and I don't know that I have an answer for you. If we're going to watch it on X, I guess we're going to have to go to x.com/NWA, and I bet you it'll be available there. I just know that I'm going to get to your guys' comments in a minute. Ryan, you literally stopped me in my tracks. I would not believe a single thing that certified hustler, whatever the guy's name, whatever he's going by now, I would not believe a single thing that he says on his live streams. Man, I'm just kind of embarrassed that today's show is already off to a bad start. But hey, you know what? The good thing is we're here now, right? So let's make the best of it. NWA is doing a WWE speed. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it feels like, right? But I think that's honestly just a terrible idea. I think look at it this way, right? The NWA started off 5 years ago on YouTube, right? That's where most of us found this NWA that we are currently watching. We found it on YouTube. And then what happened is this. It's very simple. They found someone who was willing to pay them to produce the product somewhere else. So they took the NWA, they took Power, which is 5 years old today, or technically on the 8th, but they were filming 5 years ago today. This was night number 2. And then they aired that stuff on YouTube, did that for a couple of years before wow. You start saying it out loud and it doesn't add up, right? It wasn't a couple of years. It was like 4 months, right? They started filming in October of 2019. They did a couple of pay-per-views out of the Atlanta studios. And then what happened, right? COVID. Boom, shut down the Crockett Cup, shut down everything for the NWA. And the NWA took a knee. And as they took that knee, they were done. They were out. It looked like things were over until they partnered with Fight Triller. And when they partnered with Fight and Triller, they set up this new idea, the streaming service for the NWA called NWA Plus. And what that gave the fans was unlimited access to all the pay-per-views, and we'd get Power first run on the Fight app, which would later air on YouTube. This was how it all started. They had pulled all the old additional NWA content off of YouTube, and it was only just what was current. And then they did that for a couple of years until they decided to pull the product off of Triller, unbeknownst to any of us, right? Nobody knew. There was no advance warning. It's kind of a byproduct of what the NWA front office does. They didn't give us any warning. They just pulled the product. They pulled the plug off of Fight. And then all of us were left wondering what's going to happen next. And the NWA was just available on YouTube, which was great. Back to YouTube, back to basics. Everyone was back on board. maybe not everyone. You did lose a lot of fans by putting the product behind a pay window, but a lot of us were back on, and a lot of us were watching the show again until they decided to move the show to CW roughly about 8 months ago. And it wasn't CW, the television show. It was CW, the app. Now, I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories. Why did the NWA get bounced off of CW? Was it because of the cocaine spot from Salwin? No, man, they still went ahead and put it on the product, on the app. That was not new. Was it because the WWE was coming to the CW channel? No, it wasn't. At least not as far as I can tell. Now, look, I don't have a direct inside line to William Patrick Corgan. Me and Billy don't exactly go to brunch together on Tuesdays, but I will say this, that the NWA, I'm not buying the fact that they were bounced by the CW. I'm not buying it. Because if that was the case, wouldn't there be a payoff? If you have a contract with somebody, aren't you supposed to get paid in that contract, right? Like, aren't you supposed to have a deal in place? And if somebody violates the terms of the contract, usually there has to be some sort of leveraged buyout, some sort of benefit to them canceling the contract. That's why I don't think this was a CW motivated decision. I think this might have been an NWA motivated decision. And I feel like the NWA might have been looking to move off the CW app. Let's be honest. What kind of numbers were they getting on the CW app? None of that information was available to the users, right? Like, that wasn't available to the public. That's only to the CW brass and the NWA front office. So, if those numbers weren't adding up, what was the benefit of being on the CW app? The exclusivity and keeping that product off of YouTube, I'm sure, wasn't helping them. Which, that, again, it all gets a little bit confusing, a little bit irksome, a little bit weird. Why are they going to Twitter, to X, instead of YouTube? Obviously, there's lots more eyeballs on YouTube. Everybody has a YouTube account. Not everybody is on X. Not everybody's on Twitter. I'm reading right here in the chat. A lot of you guys don't even have Twitter. So what's the point? What's the benefit of going to this app? The only thing I can think of, the only thing your boy Jay has in mind is this. X has been notoriously synonymous with the internet wrestling community, and that community has not really embraced the National Wrestling Alliance. And maybe this opportunity is to showcase the NWA to an audience that might not have watched it otherwise. If you're on Twitter right now, there's no excuse not to watch the NWA, except for you just don't want to watch it. So, and I'm sitting here reading in the chat, and I'm going to get to everyone's comments momentarily, but like, I don't have X. Okay. Oh, that's weird. They just they limited my visibility on TikTok. So, and I think I'm going to get off TikTok and maybe I'll start that back up again. But sorry guys. So this teenage kid. Sorry. Things could have been better today. They haven't been. But I guess the idea is this. They didn't go for the I think they're going to try to get some new eyeballs onto the product. Obviously, that's what the CW deal was inspired for, was to get onto a new app where maybe new eyes would see it. But I don't know. So let's get to some of your guys' comments again. It is Tuesday. We do the pre-party every Tuesday. And even if your boy Jay is having tech issues all day, we're going to still run this the way we normally do. So I'm going to get to your guys' comments real quick. Of course, Willie Bowen has the joke of the week. J. Cal, Tyrus and Aaron Roberts are going to be remaking the movie Brokeback Mountain. The only difference is this takes place in a Popeye's chicken. Willie, am I going to get canceled for saying that? Damn it, Willie. Damn you, Willie. Yeah, that one's a stiff one. Bobby Petito's in the house. Jeremy's in the house. Willie's in the house. Shrek's in the house. Hey, you didn't miss the TikTok stream, Shrek. I just got to it late. Buy W or Tyrus will steal your food and win the NWA title again. And I, for one, do not want either one of those things to happen. I like my food. Today's Taco Tuesday, by the way. Taco Bell dropping dollar tacos all day long. Holler if you hear me. So, yeah, we had the terrible audio problem. Sorry, guys. Now I'm reading all the comments. Fix your audio, J. Cal. There's no audio. We can't hear you. John Ware, what's up, John? I don't think I've seen you on YouTube before. I think I mostly have seen you on Facebook. So thanks for checking it out. Undisputed Truth is here. What's up? Steve G. Ryan Daniels. Oh, excuse me, Ryan Davis, if I could read correctly. Chris Drummond's in the house. Noob is here. What is up, everybody? I somehow blame Billy Corgan and Tyrus. Shrek, they infiltrated my computer. That's what it is. It's all their fault. I'm going to blame Billy Corgan. I'm going to blame Tyrus. He's going to squat me. Get in focus, Tyrus. Come on, man. You're making us look bad, Tyrus. Yeet. What's up, guys? Thanks for checking us out on TikTok as well. We're live on youtube.com/The Alliance Blog. That's where you can see the whole show. But if you're hanging out with me on TikTok, that's cool as well. We're talking the NWA, which is going to premiere tonight for the first time ever. It's Show Power. 5 years in the making. They're now going to debut on the platform X, formerly known as Twitter. It's going to start at 6:05 Eastern, 3:05 Pacific, and we're here to talk a little bit about the NWA to get you ready for tonight's wrestling show. Showgain is here. He's listening. What's up, Showgain? The great Hisa, if you will. So what's up, everybody? Boss is looking good in baby blue. Yeah, this again, I don't know if you guys heard me or not. This is I'm wearing the blue to say thank you to one Danny Deals who hooked it up, gave me the hat, gave me the shirt. The folks over at the NWA merch are good people. Danny Deals hooking your boy up. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Danny Deals. And now I'm having other computer issues. Let's see. Rosville's in the house, the unofficial internet champion. What's up, Roz? Let's see. I heard a rumor through Certified Wrestler that the Prestige live stream that the NWA are joining up with AEW. To be honest, that wouldn't be a bad idea. So let me tell you guys, there is absolutely zero truth that Tony Khan and William Patrick Corgan are doing anything together. That's just rumors. That's hearsay. It's BS. It's honestly, Hustler has thrown more garbage at the wall to see what would stick in the guidance of news, and it's not. It's hearsay. It's BS. It's malarkey. It's stuff you shouldn't believe. Certified Wrestling, not a source for news and information. The Alliance Blog, a source for news and information. I'll tell you when I think something's fictional. I'll tell you when it's my opinion, and I'll tell you when it's fact. My opinion is that the NWA left the CW app because of it wasn't producing enough dinero, no cash, no payola, no money, no dinero. I already said dinero. Anyways, that's my opinion. That's what I'm sticking to. But that's not fact. That has not been confirmed to me from anyone in the corporate office. That's not been confirmed to me by anyone from CW or the NWA. It's just my opinion. And it's funny, Shrek, and I know you said this earlier, I posted it earlier, but the fact that the NWA is on the X app when the X has been home for Speed, the WWE program, and now they left CW because that's where the WWE program is being shown. It's a little weird. AE fans don't want that, and I believe Chris is talking about the NWA on joining anything to do with the AEW. Yeah, and it's two different models, man. It's two different companies. It's two different deals, and I just don't see either one of them being beneficial to the other company. Yeah, Tony Khan has all the money in the world. Tony Khan can do basically whatever he wants, but what's the benefit for him hiring NWA talent, using NWA talent? You know, if there's a contract that he wants, he could just simply wait till their contract expires or make Billy an offer. You know, if he wanted Silas Mason, he could probably just go to Billy and say, hey, how much to buy out Billy's or Thrilly's contract? Anyways, I don't know, Certified, to be honest. We're just shooting rumors during a Prestige Wrestling chat. Yeah, Ryan, just FYI, that dude is, I think he wants to be a part of something that he's not, and instead of putting in the work to, get contacts and be reputable and write about the wrestling and talk about the wrestling and actually have sources and be reliable, it's just, he says a lot of things that just aren't true. And there's, again, there's nothing wrong with that if you're into fantasy. I mean, but it's just not, it's not legitimate journalism. It's, I like to think of myself as a journalist. Before I started doing the podcast almost 17 years ago, I was writing about wrestling for the last 20 years. I have sources. I've talked to people. This used to be the show. My podcast connected all the NWA, not just, back then with the real territories. I'm talking about NWA Southwest, NWA Main Event, NWA Wildside / Anarchy, the NWA East promotions, the NWA pro wrestling promotions. Like I had everybody on. We've talked to everybody, and it wasn't a hearsay. It wasn't just convoluted rumor. It was literal connections and making these connections with people. And it wasn't just me saying stuff, that's for sure. Steve G says, I just out Sunday I could watch the CW app on TV. Oh, okay. I didn't know you could watch. Yeah, I mean, I guess I did. On a smart TV, you could watch the CW app. Noob's question of the week is, has Natalia Markova run in the NWA been disappointing as of late? In my opinion, I believe the NWA is not pushing her, but pushing young female talents. I mean, with Markova, it's as simple as this. They've put her in a very versatile position that has kept her away from the title belts. And by keeping her away from the title belts, you've kept her basically a de facto non-threat to those titles. I mean, I guess the easiest way to say it is, yeah, they have booked her in a way that has not put her near the belts. Therefore, she hasn't lost any because she hasn't wrestled for any. Thank you to everyone on TikTok for the likes. Bobby Batito says, I haven't watched Levi Shapiro match in a long time. Levi Shapiro is mostly centered on the West Coast. He works with West Coast Wrestling Pro. You'll see them if you check out their stream on YouTube. They do a lot of live events. I was at their last event on Tuesday. He's looking good. I mean, he's all right. Let's see. Chris Drummond says Power and Dynamite are the same age. Yeah, I mean, I was there in Atlanta. It's funny, if you guys have like Android devices, they'll go back and show you your Google Photos, all the uploads that you have. And I was in Atlanta 5 years ago. I met Billy Corgan for the first time. Well, not the first time. I take that back. But I got to sit down with him for a bit, and I had never done that before. I got to meet Gary Horn also at that the television taping show. And it was really cool because they did a press conference at the Hard Rock Casino and Restaurant in Atlanta. And, they had everyone on stage. They had the wild card, who are the NWA World Tag Team Champions, Tom Latimer, Royce Isaacs. They had Nick Aldis with his son. He was the world's heavyweight champion. Camille was flanked him as well. You had what's her name? Sienna? Allison Kay. You had Allison Kay with the women's world title. And, this was before they announced any of the other belts, and this was the NWA. I got to talk to Tim Storm, and Dave Marquez was there. And it was a cool little press conference. It was very interesting. It was neat. And, they kicked off 2 days of TV tapings, and that happened 5 years ago, believe it or not. That's Steve. That's a bummer, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. Not gonna lie, I thought the NWA died before I watched you. You're not the only one, and that's the thing, man. There's a lot of people out there who get it twisted and think that the NWA died or the NWA became WCW, which isn't the case. And we don't have time to go through all that today, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Retro says that the merch is sweet. Yeah, shout out to my guy Danny Deals. He's got me dripped in NWA gear. I'm not familiar with Twitter. I wonder if you can cast it to your TV. I heard that you can. I think it's a newer app that's come out from X. I haven't tried it. I'll be watching it on my desktop. Yeah, my desktop is basically a 36-inch TV right here. So I have no problem watching from my TV. That's for my computer. Like DKM said, I believe they went to X just to say that they go back to YouTube. I mean, there could be some truth to that, right? There definitely could be some truth to that. Let's see, more comments. The NWA needs to go back to YouTube. I mean, in some ways, they're still there. They're putting up matches. I guess that counts for something, right? Counts for something, right? They came back with streaming on X, but you're streaming on multiple platforms. You're doing a better job than Rosville. Right now, we are on Kick. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube and technically TikTok. So, I mean, yeah, we kind of are doing a little bit better than the NWA. You could stream to multiple platforms. And honestly, if I paid for an X membership, which I don't really feel like putting money into Elon Musk's hand, but if I did, I could be broadcasting live on X too. I believe you have an Android TV. You can cast Twitter on it, but don't quote me on that. If I can't cast it on my TV, I can use SmartView to mirror my phone to my TV anyhow. There you go. Jason Steen, that's right. Oh, I've been working on my French-Canadian accent. It's not so good, though. We'll keep working on it. I broke TikTok. No, TikTok said I did something bad. I don't know. I only flashed once. A lot of the NWA fans were international and couldn't get the CW app. It makes sense for them to cash out their contract and look for another avenue for streaming power. Ryan, and that's true, man. There is a huge international contingent that watches the NWA. The problem is they didn't consider that at all prior to moving to the CW app. They didn't have a backup plan in place. And they waited for 8 months before they pulled the trigger. That's why I feel like there's a lot of chicanery going on there. I don't think it's genuine. I think that's a lot of, I think this is the right time, right place. Like, hey, we can pull off. Everyone will blame the CW. Everyone will blame the NWA or the WWE. It's easy because they're not answering anything. They haven't publicly stated anything. So the more that they just be quiet about it, they're hoping we'll all just forget and let it go. And to that I say, don't let it go. It's time Billy hire a real wrestling guy to oversee the NWA while he tours. I would suggest Dr. Tom. I'm not gonna lie, man. Dr. Tom would be fire working with the NWA. I mean, he's had inroads with Billy in the past, but I don't know, man. That'd be kind of cool. Raiden, what's going on, man? I don't think I've seen you on our YouTube channel before, but if you've been here before, welcome back. And if this is your first time, welcome. Del Taco has taco every Tuesday and Thursday, cheaper than $1 each. Okay, man, but like I saw like double stuffed chalupas and shit. Like, pardon my French. I heard there's a lot of good stuff on there. I don't really eat Taco Bell. It doesn't really fit my diet plan. But I'd make an exception for $1 chalupa. Hey, Jay, are you ready for the announcement? Food Network deal. What food do you expect to receive for some Food Network debut? If he's not eating some manicotti, then they're doing it all wrong. What you going to do with the NWA and X run wild on you, brother? I think Brian Idol was wanting to promote the NWA in place of Corgan, as he has experience in Florida, I believe. They have worked with Brian Idol, and I think he is kind of in charge of a lot of the touring that we're seeing, which is great. Brian Idol getting the NWA in New York and in Florida and all over the place. This is great. This is good news for the NWA. More touring is better than more television. And I know, like, we enjoy watching the TV show, but what's going to make Billy money is selling tickets, having these live events. And honestly, the live events are going to pay for the television if done properly. But they can't grow without money coming in. I mean, it's simple business 101. You have to spend less than what you are bringing in. And as of right now, I don't see how they could be budgeting anywhere that makes sense. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment after this live stream. It helps with the algorithm. We'll cut early. We're going to cut right about 3 o'clock so that you guys are, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. So you guys can jump in. You guys can jump right into Twitter, right onto X, stream it, dream it, believe it. Blue is my favorite color. Navy, midnight, and royal. That's what I'm talking about, Willie. Blue. Although some people think I look better in red. So, I'm wearing blue tonight, but next time you see me, I might be wearing red. Neither NWA fans want to see us join AEW. Yep. J-Cal, is UWN done? Steve, the answer is no. No. They're actually getting ready to do some live events. In fact, they are planning to do, I believe, 4 non-televised events. And I believe that they're going to be getting back on television very, very soon. Very, very soon. It's been a rough year. You got to understand it is a small mom and pop shop. It's Dave Marquez. Dave Marquez Productions is kind of it's a one-man band. So I believe that we're going to see in 2025 more UWN content. But no, they're not going anywhere. Please God, no. We don't need a bunch of flippity-dippity in the NWA. Hey, Sam Retro, what do you think? What do you think Jack Cartwheel does? And he does it very well, mind you. We want old school big guy brawlers for the NWA, more of it. I don't have a problem with that at all either, Dodie. I would love to see more of the bigger dudes in the NWA. We kind of got glimpses of that not too long ago. We have the Immortals, we have the Fixers, we have Jack Stane and Tim Storm. I'm good with the big heavyweight guys. I'm all right with that. More of that is good for me. You won't hear your boy Jay complaining about that. But I did see that there was a few comments talking about NWA New York, or at least the NWA that had the events in New York. Now, there were 2 shows that happened this past weekend, but there only happens to have results for one of those shows. And real quick, I'll go through it. This was from the house show on night number 1 of Sacred Heart in New York City. South Philly's finest. Wait, I have a graphic for this. Let me put the graphic up. If you're gonna make a graphic, you might as well use it, right? Boom! Look at that crowd. Look at that crowd. I mean, it was like a high school gym, yeah. It looks pretty good if you ask me. I think it looks pretty good. Anyways, South Philly's finest, which is Jimmy Conway and Luca Barazzi, defeated Skull and Bones. Papa Don made his return to the NWA. He was there for the 76th anniversary show. He defeated Steve Pena. The Slime Balls defeated Aaron Stevens and Wrecking Ball Legursky. That's a tag team we haven't seen before. Joe Acasio defeated Anthony Katina. These guys we've seen work a lot of preliminary matches in the NWA. Flex Havoc and Rage defeated Sidney Porter and the Rockstar. I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with those guys. I don't think I've seen them before. Hunter Drake, we saw him at the Return to the Territory show. He defeated Fox Viner. Natalia Markova defeated Kenzie Page by disqualification. It was not a title match, or at least it wasn't announced for the title. And then Tom Latimer defeated Brian Idol. And we won't talk about other stipulations that were involved with that. But good stuff. The NWA touring, again, I think this is big business for the NWA. I think this is good news. I think this is going to help the brand continue to grow. Let's get back to some more of the comments. Let's see. CW is bad for wrestling. The only reason NXT will survive the CW is because the WWE will keep their peacock, right? Look, I think CW isn't necessarily a bad spot for wrestling. I just think that the circumstances of being on the app are limited, right? Like, if you, in terms of viewer percentages, I mean, you talk about your Netflix, your Amazons, your Prime, Amazon Prime, your Peacock, there's so many other streaming services, Max, Hulu, all of these companies. And then somewhere down the road, you got CW. Now, it's cool because it's free to watch, right? But there's commercials. And I don't know, man, before the NWA came to CW, I never watched anything on the CW app. And I don't know if I'm like most people or if that's just me, but I just never watched anything on the app. So it being a bad spot for wrestling, I don't think is a fair statement. I think CW in general just hasn't had an opportunity to do a lot with wrestling. And I think it makes more sense to be on the television side of it than it is just the app. And I think if you could do both, I think that's a positive thing. A lot of the NWA fans, we talked about that already. What's going on? Let's see. Bobby says, I still hope one day we see Richard Holiday on NWA Power. I mean, I think Richard Holiday is such a gifted talent, and I can't believe he hasn't signed elsewhere yet. If he's available, I mean, him and Tom Latimer, I think, could have a great feud. I think him and EC3 have a lot of unfinished business. There's a lot of guys I think Richard Holiday could bring the best out of if he were on the NWA Power roster. Let's see. The only thing Certified said that turned out to be real was that the ROH buyout by Khan. Aside from that, he was a channel piggybacker. Yeah, you see, I think, and even that, I mean, if you knew Tony Khan and him being a fan of Ring of Honor, you might have been able to guess that, right? Like, I don't know if that's such a shot in the dark, but again, yeah, I didn't call it, so I'll give him that one. DirecTV has access to the CW app. That's cool, man. I didn't know that. Yes. Oh, wait, 100% Roz. And as soon as we would get called on his spamming on the chat, he'd turn angry, bash the channel. Guy is $3 short of $1 menu. Nice, Jeremy. Love it. Let's see. That press conference, Aldous Dunn kept running across the stage. Yeah, little Aldous. He was crying during the press conference. Yeah, Dave Scooby, that studio was something else, man. A lot of good memories, a lot of short time that they spent in Atlanta. I don't think the plan was ever to stay there, but I think the plan was to be there for TV a lot longer than they were. Let's see. I'm seeing more of you guys' chat. Ryan Davis says, my first wrestling show was NWA when I was 11. I was front row and watched the Midnight and Rock and Roll Express. Dustin Rhodes teamed with Kendall Windham in his rookie year. That sounds like if I was to guess, I'd say like 88, 87. What's up, Wrestle Rant? You guys follow Wrestle Rant on TikTok? If you don't, you should. Sam Retro says XTV is compatible to Amazon and Roku. Yeah. Steve, the fire isn't near me per se, so as far as I can tell, it's fine. I mean, it's closer to my work than it is to my home, and I haven't really been paying too much attention to it. You guys are talking about food again. You make me hungry. I don't think we're going to see the NWA come to California. It doesn't make sense. I think for booking purposes, a lot of the talent doesn't live on the West Coast, so you're flying a lot of people in, which means, you're going to have to rent a ring out here because you can't have Joe Kazana drive a ring out here. I just don't think it makes sense. Like I said, most of the talent is based centrally located in like Tennessee and Florida, Texas. I don't see them flying a whole cast out here to California. More so, it's like everything's very expensive, and that includes buildings to run in. And, ultimately, you got to turn some sort of profit. I think if you're spending a ton of money on running out in California, I think that's just a bad business decision. It makes sense for some companies. West Coast Pro is doing a hell of a job. They were at San Diego, down in San Diego for TwitchCon. They did Tuesday night at the Improv. They'll be back here on Saturday for another event in Montclair. They're all over the place, and they run their home market is in San Francisco. So they really have made the West Coast of California their territory. But yeah. Have I ever considered doing a watch along? Chris, I would love to do watch alongs. There's just not enough hours in the day, right? There's just not enough hours in the day. Let's see. I see you good in black and gold. Shrek, what do you mean, bro? I love Jack Hartwell. We just don't need 5 more. All right, Retro. That's a good point, man. That's a fair point. It keeps him special. Everyone does what Cartwheel does in AEW, so no AEW versus No NWA versus AEW. Got it. I'm a big fan of Katana. That dude's going to be good. I think he's got a lot of potential. A lot of these guys that we haven't seen a lot of, it's weird. Like, these guys, to me, should be the ones that are, like, growing the territories, you know? But I guess it is what it is. Rockstar was at the 76. Okay, I believe you, Chris. I'm not super familiar with him, so if he was there, I probably didn't, probably saw him and didn't know. So many local talents in New York show. I wish we get more St. Louis local talents. I agree. I would like to see more of everything. The studio show has been done in a way to talk us into buying tickets at the NWA on tour and territory events. That's how it should have been done. I mean, look, if you go back to the early days of the NWA, and where I'm talking like in the 50s, right? The whole idea, the television show was basically an infomercial. We want you to buy tickets. We want you to buy tickets to our live events. That's what television was for. Now it seems like it's the opposite. Now it feels like they're running live events to promote television. And, you know, if you're the WWE, that makes sense. But if you're the NWA, you're not getting compensated the same way. And somebody on TikTok asked, what territories are now in the NWA? So there is like 4 legitimate territories and then 2 like what I'd call affiliates. So first and foremost, the first NWA territory was Exodus Pro. That is based in Cleveland, Ohio. That's EC3's promotion. They've been running for a while. The second promotion would be Joe Kazana Promotions. Now that's an Eastern Tennessee promotion. They kind of run in Decatur, Knoxville, really all points in between. They've even run Nashville, so like they do mostly Eastern Tennessee. Then there's Crossfire Promotions. They run Seaverville, I believe that's how you pronounce it. So that's like the main 3. And then there's the 4th one is Chicago, NWA Chicago, and they run. Oh gosh, I can't remember exactly where they run, but it's the NWA had done events there before, and now Chicago runs there pretty exclusively. Then the ancillary promotions that have been kind of part of the NWA, but not really. There's FTW in Florida. That's Brian Idol's promotion. It's kind of, they're not officially an NWA affiliate, but they work with the NWA. And then there's World League Wrestling in St. Louis, Missouri. They were formerly members of the NWA years ago. Right now, they are just, I think, considered associates of the brand. Also, Dog Pound Wrestling in Texas is kind of considered an associate, an affiliate, if you will. And the big announcement that we'll be hearing probably very, very soon is that Texas-sized wrestling or Texas-style wrestling will be joining the NWA probably in the beginning of the year. So that's your NWA territories. In the old days, there were territories all over the east and west and north and south. You had territories outside of the United States, Canada, Mexico, the UK. All of that's changed. Right now, the only affiliates are the ones that I just mentioned. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Do you think YouTube will buy the NWA? No. True. There's no way that YouTube would buy the NWA. There's no benefit for YouTube to buy the NWA. I don't think YouTube is in the business of promoting or producing content. YouTube is built in a way that it benefits from showcasing other people's productions, and they don't have to create their own content. Enough people will create the content for them. I agree. The way they market the territory shows, they need to also promote the NWA on tour shows during Power. We've been seeing that, James, and we'll be seeing probably more of that now. That they're running more live events. I mean, we've got. Look, I have the calendar right here. Like, these are the NWA's upcoming schedule. We've got the television tapings this weekend. 2 nights in Tampa, then Samhain back in Sarasota, Samhain 2. That's on the 26th. That's 3 dates in October. Then they have a date in Dothan, Alabama, which is December 14th. And then Shockwave back in Forney, Texas on January the 11th. And I mean, look at that. These are NWA events. These aren't the territories. These are NWA promoted events. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, they are running more. They have more things going on. It's good. It's good business. It's good business. I'm going to get to a few more of your comments that we'll talk about tonight's show. Has anyone been watching Violent J's Juggalo Championship Wrestling? It's basically in the NWA on acid. I haven't watched, Ryan, but I've been meaning to. I've been hearing a lot of good things. Sam Retro, yeah, Highland Park. That's where NWA Chicago has been running. NWA, unfortunately, been clear and on avoided West Coast due to cost. But if they finally able to stop, hope Portland first stop, since it was the last old territory and Silas started his career there. Portland would be a good spot. I don't think running in California makes any sense. As a fan of the CCW, I always wanted them to become a territory of the NWA. They have some really great wrestling down there. I believe CCW is better off as its own. I think they could, much like Ohio Valley, they could work with the NWA, but I don't think they need to be a part of the NWA. I think that's what makes them special. Pollo Del Mar was on this podcast in the past and put them over as being this great territory that honestly, they are a genuine territory running like 5 to 7 days, or 4 to 6 days a week. And I think that's better than anyone in the NWA is doing right now. Jules Hubby on TikTok, when will they use the territory, guys? They started doing that in the last few weeks. So they had the territory show, of course, the 76th anniversary show coming up this on this season of Power. You're going to see a lot more territory guys make their return to the NWA. Let's see. Chris Drummond is excited for Texas style wrestling. Texas Stars Wrestling, Texas Style Wrestling. I don't even know what the TSW stands for. Zero interest in Juggalo Wrestling or the music. Tech 9 is as close as I'll get. I don't know, man. That Vampiro theme in WCW was pretty all right. I don't want 5 Jack Cartwheels. I want 3 Thrillbillies, 3 AJ Casanas, and 3 Jack Stains. I'm with you, Doty. Hopefully CEP, a.k.a. Championship Entertainment Promotions in Long Island, New York, joins the NWA. I would be all right with them just doing what they're doing now. Jules, you were at the 76. It was a good show. It was a great show. I was there too. We were there representing the Alliance. Supreme Wrestling in Madison, Indiana is another one. I haven't heard much about them, Shrek. FTW Wrestling hasn't posted any matches on their YouTube channel. Like I said, the lack of production is bad. Yeah. Tom Latimer will be a great championship like EC3, excuse me. Supreme Wrestling used to be an affiliate. I followed them for a little while. The territories provided shock value to the public, always had different talents coming and going. What was really good back in the days, you would have somebody wear out their welcome somewhere. I think of a guy like Rush Freeman. I like Rush Freeman. I think he has a lot more potential than the NWA ever gave him. But for whatever reason, he just wasn't getting over with the Power audience. To me, that's when you send the guy to Joe Kazana Promotions. You send him to Exodus Pro. You send him to FTW and let him work a different audience, a different crowd, and see if he can get over with something else. They failed to do that. I don't know what Rush Freeman's doing these days. I hope to see him back in the NWA at some point. Of course, I'm still obsessed with tough wrestlers with martial arts, MMA, amateur wrestling backgrounds. Were you there at 76? Would you like to see more of Kayla Rossi in the NWA? Kayla Rossi was pretty good, but I feel like the NWA should go a different direction in its women division. I think getting women who are really talented in the ring, really good grapplers, I think would be better for the NWA. Hood Slam Wrestling. I've heard of Hood Slam, Undisputed Truth. They're up north. Not exactly my style, but I'd like to see it. Ryan Davis says, Kenzie hinted at YouTube, Crossfire coming to YouTube. And then James says, Texas Style Wrestling. I've been watching them for the last year and a half, and I have a subscription to their TSW service. All right. Now that I got all the comments, let me get a drink of W real quick. I have earned it. Delicious. Tonight's the night. Power on X. X is going to give it to you. What? We're going to have title matches, and we're going to have announcements. And so first things first, this EC3 versus Tom Latimer match, I was there to see it live. It's the worst kept secret in wrestling. We already know who's won this match. If you don't know, you're going to know after tonight. And this is the best news ever because as it is with currently not being able to discuss who the world champion is and what that world champion is up to, I think hurts the NWA, and having a champion that they can talk about and showcase on these live events, I think is a benefit to the NWA. Of course, if you know, I sound like I'm talking in circles here, but Tom Latimer has really been through the ringer. He's had a rough go of things, and in life has not always given him a lot of positives. But he's taken his life, he's churned it around. The dude has worked really hard to get this opportunity to wrestle EC3 at the 76th anniversary show. Is a victory in it of itself. Tom Latimer is a NWA World Tag Team Champion. Tom Latimer is an NWA National Champion and an NWA Television Champion. And if he becomes the World's Heavyweight Champion, then he is the only wrestler in the modern era of the NWA to be a Grand Slam champion, having held all 4 major men's titles. And I think that is something that you're not going to see too many people do within the NWA. And again, I don't know that there's a guy more deserving than Tom Latimer. With that being said, EC3 showed up in the NWA unannounced, uninvited, controlling his own narrative and becoming World's Heavyweight Champion in a similar path by winning the national title and taking the fight to Tyrus. Not only did he win the World's Heavyweight title, but he took Tyrus out of the NWA. And then went on to take the 10 pounds of gold all across the globe. And I'm not just talking about the West Coast. Yeah, he defended the title, the 10 pounds of gold, twice in the state of California. He defended the title in his home territory of Exodus Pro. He defended the title in Utah. He defended the title in Pennsylvania. Like, he literally has taken the belt everywhere in the U.S., but also defending in Canada. Also defending in the United Kingdom, also defending in Australia, also defending in Japan for All Japan Pro Wrestling. You gotta give the man his due. EC3 was a grinder and showcased everybody to what a real World's Heavyweight Champion should be. I think that this matchup has a ton of history involved with it, has 2 of the best the NWA has to offer, and honestly, any one of these guys would make a great World's Heavyweight Champion. You'll see who wins tonight. And the tag team titles are on the line when you have the Southern Six taking on Murknox, your NWA World Tag Team Champions. This is a battle of the Crockett Cup 2023 winners versus the Crockett Cup 2024 winners. These guys also have had a long-standing feud, and this matchup is going to be a lot of fun. I know because I saw it. We were there live. We saw these matches. It was fun. I think you guys will enjoy this one too. Then this one is the one that gets me. The special announcement from William Patrick Corgan on the future of the NWA. Now, I was there live in Philly, and we were promised a huge announcement from William Patrick Corgan, and what we got was the birth announcement of that he and his partner were having another child. Now, that's great news for William Patrick Corgan. Who doesn't want a tax write-off? Who doesn't want a little bundle of tax write-off? I'm kidding. I'm a dad. I love my kids. Kids are great. I don't know what this announcement's going to be. Hopefully, look, we know that we're on X for the next 5 weeks. What's going to happen after that? Hopefully, we get some insight tonight from Billy Corgan, from Mr. William Patrick Corgan. Thanks for the follows, of course. All right, so that's going to do it, man. We got about 4 more minutes before you should get ready for Power, so I'm going to go through the rest of the comments, and then we'll say goodbye. I do appreciate you guys checking us out, whether it be on TikTok, Twitch, or Kick, and especially YouTube, because YouTube is where they pay your boy Jay. So youtube.com/The Alliance Blog. Make sure you subscribe. And when I see this guy named Joe, you know I'm doing something right. Let's see. Okay, so Dodie says Kevin Lee Davidson, Calvin Tankman, Cyrus the Destroyer, Big Texan, Attila Khan and Josh Barnett for the NWA. Barnett, man, Barnett would be hot in the NWA. That dude would fit right in. I could see him and a couple of guys going really hard on that one. My indie buddy worked Exodus Pro. Exodus Pro has a pretty diverse roster. I hope your buddy is a regular for them. Can't wait for the earth-shattering announcement from Billy tonight. Me either, man. I think it's going to be dope because it's got to be better than this. It's got to be better than what we heard because we haven't heard shit. Sorry for the cussing. Being on Twitter is probably easy to clip and gif NWA again. Kayfabe, you're always looking to get that next funny meme out, and I could appreciate that, man. I honestly think that maybe X was chosen over maybe Meta or TikTok or something like that because, again, the internet wrestling community is kind of personified by the X audience, and I think that kind of works. So we'll see how that pans out. OVW had to exclude the first 15 minutes of their show because it had ECW without the NWA title, EC3 without the NWA title, but he's the OVW national champ, which is their top title. Actually, that's their secondary title. EC3 has had a great reign as world's heavyweight champion. EC3 can't control his narrative. He wouldn't defend it in China like Aldis. I mean, if the money's right, I think anyone would go to China and defend it. But you have to understand, that wasn't even Aldis. That was Dave Marquez. If Dave Marquez wasn't involved in the picture, we never would have had Aldis in China. Now, Aldis going to Australia, that was part of Tommy Dreamer's Hardcore Heaven. What was the name of his promotion? You guys, it doesn't matter. He went to Australia because of Tommy Dreamer. He went to the UK because of himself, and the NWA name, I believe, took him to Poland. So you give him that one. Wonder what happened between Alonzo and Corrigan. I think Alonzo just wanted more money. I don't think there's any real drama there. I think he said, hey, look, I know my worth, and I think I'm worth more. And Corrigan said, go get it, brother. I don't think there's any ill will there at all. Today is the 76th, and we're getting the announcement as promised. I hope you're right, man. Bobby, thanks for the like. Barnett is a bruiser. They said announcement at 76, and we are getting that. 76 starts tonight. There it is, James. Kenzie Page said that Natalia Markova is not going to dethrone her, but Tiffany Nieves will dethrone Kenzie for the Burke. Interesting. Who would you like to see NWA Women's Television Champion? I think right now, La Princesa Tiffany Nieves makes the most sense to me, but I wouldn't mind that title bouncing around. I hate the fact that the TV title has been so stationary for such a long time. Going to see Exodus Pro have Brandon Beretta because I want SICW guys in the NWA. I would be angry I wouldn't be angry at La Princesa or Markova being champ. Noob, that's right, House of Hardcore. Bobby says it would be nice to see Ruthie J or Taylor Rising as women's TV champion. Don't forget, we were just celebrating 7 years of the Lightning One era. That's right, Dodie. It's true. It's been 7 years. I thought the OV title was higher also, but they consider the NWA World title as the world title and the national title is the stepping stone to it. Al Snow gave an explanation about 2 months ago. That's wild. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Tuesday. Sorry about the tech issues that started the show. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday to talk all things NWA. We'll give us a recap of what happened here on Power. We'll tell you what was good, what was bad, and what we were indifferent to. I hope you will join us then. If you enjoy this podcast, this live stream, whether you're on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, or YouTube, make sure you like and follow us so that the channel can continue to grow. Also, if you like the content and you want to help support us financially, there's a couple different ways to do that. We do sell merchandise. We have alliance-wrestling.com merchandise. The merch link is in the bio on our YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok page. Excuse me, not TikTok, Kick page. On TikTok, if you go to the links, I believe it's part of the link tree, whatever. So check that out. Also, if you don't want to buy a t-shirt or a hat, and maybe you just need some energy, we are affiliated with Dubby Energy. Dubby Energy is a very clean energy that helps you get ready for the day without being overly shaky and too worked up. If you're looking for some energy to help you get focused throughout your day, I drink W all the time. I'm drinking it right now. And I think it's a great alternative to some of the canned energy drinks that you'll get in the store. I love it, and I continue to drink it. Lastly, you can also support us if you're looking for a championship title belt. We have a title belt for our fantasy baseball league that we got from TrophySmack.com. We are affiliated with Trophy Smack. You could use our code to save money on your Trophy Smack purchase. Plus, we get a little something when you buy a title belt for your fantasy sports or your business, like a Salesman of the Week award or something like that. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us. I do appreciate you guys being here. Hang out on X. Let's watch some NWA together. And until next time, we'll see you at the matches.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.